Oh no! I am going to complete everything there is to do in Minecraft one update at a time, starting with the very first rendition of Alpha all the way up to present day. We will be building all there is to build, exploring new world changes every update, defeating mobs, and reliving Minecraft as if it's being played for the very first time. So sit back, enjoy all the twists, turns, ups and downs, subscribe for a potentially endless Minecraft experience, and let's play Minecraft as it was intended to be. Welcome to my Minecraft Evolution series, and the adventure begins now.
Welcome to the golden age of Minecraft, the beta years. Before we do anything, let's start with some quick Beta 1.0 facts. Beta 1.0 was the shortest lived major update in Minecraft history. It only spanned 2 days before Beta 1.1 released, and it will probably hold that title forever. Next thing, the literal only meaningful feature that Beta 1.0 brought in its 2-day reign over Mojang's kingdom was throwable eggs, and those throwable eggs spawning chickens. And it was all due to a meme, a joke, a real big funny. You see, some adoring fan, no, not that one, on the early days of Twitter decided it'd be funny to convince the High Lord Notch to add throwable eggs into the game by eating his USB. This very image here changed the face of Minecraft eggs as we knew them forever. A feature that still stands to this day. Anyway, yeah, beyond a few bug fixes and lots of server-side updates, this was the major reveal of Minecraft Beta. The next big thing after Minecraft Alpha was throwable eggs born from a random dude on Twitter fucking around. No, but really, with this newfound egg throwing revelation in mind, I knew it was destiny for the Evolution series. My homage to @wild on Twitter, who ate a USB many moons ago so I could make this very moment in this very video. Yes, I knew what we had to do. We had to spawn a chicken. But it wasn't going to be easy. You see, in this time period of Minecraft, passive mobs were plentiful, yes, but also finicky and hard to keep around. You breathe in another direction and everything despawns. Come on, you know you want to. So while I waited the 5 to 10 minutes it takes for a chicken to lay an egg, I realized to streamline the process we needed to trap one, or more if possible, for a true AFK throwable egg high efficiency farm. I tried blocking them in, digging a hole underneath them and whacking them a million times, but to no avail. When I finally trapped one in a cave, I knew I had to do what many have done before me. Build with dirt to avoid being attacked by mobs at night. And so I did. I made what I'm calling the chicken house. And while I was building, our little prisoner finally made an egg. Nothing though. House complete, and I mean, this is peak egg watching content. This is why you subscribed. And if you're not, subscribe for more egg watching content. Second egg, finally. And nothing. On the third egg, my chicken got out, but I knew that was a good sign. She had done everything we wanted her to do. And to my great delight, a chicken. I wish they could stay in the house forever, but I bet they're going to despawn the second I walk outside. Speaking of walking outside, creepers decided no more chicken house for me. Why are there so many creepers? I decided now that we have quite a few builds on our lands, it'd be nice to label things and say what update we created them just for fun and for memories. Especially when we get to the later versions, it will be fun to come back here and see all of the history. Because in this series, I don't want to destroy or renovate anything. Even the ugly chicken house will be preserved. Every bit of the world will be a memory, and I don't want to mess with that. Signs everywhere is going to be kind of ugly, but I did my best to blend things in with the buildings where I could. Oh, and one last thing before we update to the next version, the fence post tradition. Nope. Before I get to the next update, quick shout out to my current channel members listed on these signs. Special shout out to my knights Victoria and Ponytail MC and my Soul Lord member Dirty Dan. If you'd like to join them on the sign wall, use the join button below for that and some other awesome perks and emojis. Welcome to Beta 1.1. Like I said, this was 2 days after Beta 1.0, and well, it also didn't feature too many major changes. The most important change was the addition of capes, and the Christmas 2010 cape that every player wore on Christmas that year. Unfortunately, I couldn't figure out a way to get capes to work for me in this version like I wanted to, and spent way too long trying to figure it out. So in the interest of time, I'm just going to play. There weren't a lot of game-changing updates in this version, so I made a decision. To make these smaller updates more interesting, I will either build something or finish something we started in the other versions. Like, you already know the Hall of Blocks and Nether Hub were left unfinished, and I need to finish those before too long. And the Nether Hub was going to be oh so important coming up, so I started by heading out to finish the ceiling to finally make it safe. It's so ugly with the netherrack cobblestone combo, but it's safe, and that's the most important thing. While I'm building, let's talk about some rare capes to fill the time. There were some pretty cool personalized capes given out over the years. One of a kind, so they are super rare. Notch gave this bacon cape to user McLee, who is credited with coming up with the idea of zombie pigment. However, this caused quite the snowball effect of people flooding Notch with requests for their own personal capes. So the bacon cape was unfortunately removed. The other most notable one, in my opinion, is the cape given to Mr. Messiah. If you don't know, Mr. Messiah created the Better Light mod, which completely overhauled the blocky lighting system in 2011. Notch and Jeb liked it so much they asked for permission to integrate the mod into vanilla Minecraft and gave Mr. Messiah this cape to commemorate his contribution. Obviously, with Optifine and other mods, anyone can pretend to wear these, but the originals are the rarest capes in Minecraft history. Alright, so there we go, it's finally complete. We can finally stop worrying about gas. And yeah, like I said, there aren't any notable gameplay changes once again in this version, so it is once again time to upgrade the world. We have reached the meat and potatoes of today's episode, folks. Welcome to Beta 1.2, an absolutely gargantuan update to Minecraft with so many additions and changes. This is probably the biggest update we've had to face in the series so far. And you know the drill, we are going to be completing everything and finding everything the update has to offer. To make things simpler and more entertaining, instead of sitting here lecturing you for 10 minutes on every little change, we're going to work through the update's wiki page one thing at a time, starting with Minecraft's most restorative food source to this day, cake. Luckily, we have all of the cake ingredients pretty readily available. So I made 2 sugar from our sugarcane, and yes, it's called sugarcane now as of this update. Grabbed 3 wheat from our tiny farm, and oh yeah, I was literally so excited to make this cake, I forgot to try the fence post. Nope. I also needed an egg, but I already know our beloved chickens have been despawned. Yep, nowhere to be found. So I trapped a new chicken and waited. Luckily, we don't have to spawn a new one this time. I love how 90% of this episode is just me waiting for eggs though. Finally, I got one and it was time for the final ingredient, milk. Not just any milk though, squid milk. If you didn't know, this update is when squids were added. Now, to make things simple, Notch copied the code of cows over when creating the squid as a base. He entirely forgot to remove the milking function though, and hence milking squids was born for a short while. I knew I had to do it this way. However, as night fell and I finally found squids, I realized it was super buggy for some reason and not working. I was spamming the bucket and was able to grab it once, but accidentally drank it right away. So I knew it could work, but I realized it was kind of more trouble than it was worth. So I went to grab milk from normal cows instead. Speaking of buggy, our world's corruption has officially begun. I found the chunk border where Alpha 1.0 meets our new Beta 1.2 terrain. Unfortunately, this is only going to be the least of our worries bug-wise, but we'll cross those bridges when we get there. Finally, our cake adventure was complete, and as I went to put it in the Hall of Blocks, I realized I screwed up the proportions in the last episode, 2 blocks instead of 3. It's horribly ugly, but at the same time, we'll be saving tons of space in the long run, and there will end up being over 1,000 blocks in here, so it'll be okay. Just deal with it. Anyway, I made the cake and put it down. Next up is lapis lazuli. This was going to require using our nether hub to find new mining lands. However, since we traveled literally 4,000 blocks looking for pumpkins last episode, I decided it'd be best to move in the Z direction from our Alpha 1.2.6 portal. Oh, and while I dig, if this is for some reason your first evolution episode, be sure to check out the first 2 parts on my channel or on the evolution playlist so you understand all these references I'm making. I made it to new lands and realized another new block's existence right away: birchwood. Now, birchwood still makes oak planks, and it's also just called wood in Beta 1.2, but we needed it for the Hall of Blocks anyway. Also, Beta 1.2 is when the workbench was renamed to crafting table. And this version also introduced spruce wood, only spawning in taiga biomes. I'll look for that later though. It was time to focus and dig down and look for lapis. I pretty much immediately found a cave and hoped it got deep enough for our goal. It wasn't without its dangers though. Oh no! Then I found it. We finally got some luck on our side. It only took a few minutes. It was a lot too. After some craziness, I made it back to the surface and it was time to find spruce wood and the taiga biome. I started walking in the night and prayed to the Minecraft gods that it wouldn't take as long as our pumpkin journey. On my journey, I remembered that sandstone is also new and we should grab some. However, back in the day, it didn't generate in the world. It was made from 4 sand, which is kind of funny. Sorry this part of the video is kind of all over the place and disorganized. There was so many new things popping up that kept distracting me while recording, so it ends up being a little disorganized when throwing it all together. Bear with me. After about 1,000 blocks of walking and boating, which is absolutely nothing in this series, we found ourselves a taiga biome, finally. I grabbed myself some spruce logs and found out they literally drop oak saplings, which is hilarious. I guess different trees weren't made sustainable until way later. Oak tree supremacy, if you will. On my way back, I saw a patch of clay and finally remembered to grab some to fill out our gaps in the Hall of Blocks now that clay isn't rarer than diamonds. Finally, those stupid signs will go away. I made my way back to the portal and then back home. We smelted the clay, made the lapis block, and finally made our bricks. The last major block addition is dyed wool. This part is going to be extremely fast-paced as there's a ton of dyeing I had to do. I smelted cacti to get green, used rose for red, dandelion for yellow, lapis acts as blue, and then I found a gray sheep outside our door for light gray. Beta 1.2 was the first time gray and black sheep spawned in the wild. I needed some inventory space, so let's go put these down in the hall. I put down the first pieces and finally put down clay and bricks. That looks so much better. Alright, we used the red and yellow dye to make orange, made lime with green and white, which is bone meal, killed some squid for black, which is their ink sacs, got ourselves black wool, gray wool, light blue wool, cyan wool, purple wool, and finally magenta wool. Does the word wool sound weird yet? One last thing that changed in this version, spiders can climb walls now, as evidenced by this one climbing over my house to kill me. Now, we have everything except brown wool. Brown wool was added in this version using cocoa beans as dye, but cocoa beans were only available via inventory editors in Beta 1.2. And brown sheep don't spawn in the wild yet. We will get brown wool as soon as it is actually available in survival mode. We extended the Hall of Blocks even further and put everything down. It is actually starting to look really amazing, except for the fact that I am procrastinating on building the walls and roof. However, the next update, Beta 1.3, is pretty small, so it might be another renovation version. In fact, it kind of has to be before the hall becomes a massive project. I need to stop being lazy with it. And so that's the entire update. We got so much done this episode and so much content packed into one. I hope you all enjoyed it, and if you did, leave a like, subscribe for more evolution episodes and other nostalgic content, and tell your friends. This series is starting to become sacred to me, and I enjoy making it so much, so I hope you enjoy watching it. I'm going to start uploading it more often as it's asked of me a lot, and it's not super hard to make. Thank you all, have a beautiful day, and I'll see you in the next one.